Hello, everyone. Today we will understand how an oil shock impacts India's economy, especially the balance of payments. Let me ask you a simple question. What happens when petrol prices increase? Yes, everything becomes expensive. But beyond inflation, oil shocks affect trade balance, currency value, economic stability. Today, we will break this down step by step. Let's first understand what caused the oil shock. The US Israel conflict with Iran has disrupted global oil supply. Now, here's a key concept: Strait of Hormuz. This is one of the most important oil routes in the world. Almost 20 to 30% of global oil passes through it. Now, imagine if this route is blocked. Supply falls leads to prices rise. Also, large trading firms speculate in oil markets, which increases price volatility even more. So, this is not just a supply problem, it's also a market psychology problem. Now, let's bring this to India. India is highly dependent on oil imports. Let me ask you, what happens when a country depends heavily on imports? Exactly. It becomes vulnerable to global shocks. India imports 30 to 40% crude from Gulf, 80 to 90% LPG from the same region. So if supply is disrupted, India faces shortages, price rise, economic pressure. This affects everyone from households to farmers. Now let's understand a very important concept: imported inflation. This means inflation caused by rising prices of imported goods. Oil is a universal input. It is used in transport, manufacturing, fertilizers, everything. So when oil prices increase, cost of production increases, prices of goods increase. Now add another problem: rupee depreciation. When rupee weakens, imports become even more expensive. So we get a double impact: high global price, weak domestic currency. This makes inflation worse. Now we move to the most important part: the balance of payments. First concept: trade deficit, when imports greater than exports. Second concept: BOP, balance of payments. This records all transactions with the rest of the world. Now, what happens during an oil shock? Oil imports increase, import bill rises, trade deficit widens at the same time. Non oil imports like gold are also increasing. So, overall, current account deficit worsens. Even though India earns from IT exports remittances, it may not be enough to offset the oil shock. This creates pressure on the economy. Earlier, India had one advantage: India imports crude oil, refines it, and exports petroleum products. This helped earn foreign exchange and reduce trade deficit. But now the situation is changing. Due to supply shortages, government may prioritize domestic consumption. This means less export of refined products. So, export earnings fall, trade deficit worsens. This removes a key cushion from the economy. Let's conclude. Oil shock is not just about rising prices, it is a combination of supply disruption, market speculation. For India, this leads to inflation, trade deficit, balance of payments pressure. The key lesson is India must reduce dependence on oil imports. This can be done through renewable energy, diversified sourcing, strong economic planning. Final question for you: do you think India is doing enough to reduce oil dependency? Think about it. This is a very important exam and policy question.